Welcome to Human Centered Experience. I'm Hitesh, and today's episode is a personal one. For those of you who've been with me through this journey, thank you. This episode is yours as much as mine. On June 3rd, I published my first book, CX First, putting customers at the heart of business strategy. This is not a book about tactics. It's not a list of best practices. It is a systems level argument for why customer experience needs to be the organizing principle of modern business and practical blueprint for how to do it. Now, I spent 2 decades across design, enterprise transformation, and customer strategy at companies that are as major as Telecom in the US, BlackBerry, Nokia in the past, watching organizations spend billions on CX programs that moved metrics but never moved people or the operations in the back end. This book is my answer to that problem. But I want to say something about why this book matters right now. In this moment, in 2026, we're living through the most dramatic compression of output friction in human history. AI can write, AI can design, AI can code, analyze, generate, and synthesize faster than any team at a fraction of cost. The barrier to producing output has essentially collapsed. And that changes everything, but not in the way most people think. When it becomes effortless to produce anything, the question is of what to produce becomes the only question that matters. When every company has access to the same generative tools, when anyone can spin up campaign, a customer journey, a product variant, a personalized touch point in hours, the differentiator is no longer execution speed. The differentiator is judgment. Do you know which customers to serve? Do you know which moments in the journey are worth designing for? Do you understand the underlying human need deeply enough to build something that actually resonates? Or are you just producing at scale and hoping something sticks? Most organizations are going to use AI to produce more content, more interactions, more personalization attempts, more automated journeys. And they're going to flood their customers with it because they still don't know what their customers actually want. They don't have the strategic clarity, the empathy infrastructure, or the organizational alignment to direct those tools toward anything meaningful. That is the problem CX First is written to solve. It is a book about knowing what to build before you build it, about designing the intent, the human logic, and the strategic direction that makes AI-powered execution worth anything at all. The friction for output has collapsed. The value of knowing what output to produce has never been higher. That is why this book is not just relevant in 2026, it is more necessary now than it would have been 5 years ago. And 5 years from now, that gap between producing and knowing will be even wider. Here's the uncomfortable truth about customer experience today. Most organizations have more CX data than ever before. NPS dashboards, journey maps on the walls, voice of the customer platforms, AI co-pilots in the contact center. And yet, customers are more frustrated than ever. Churn is rising. Trust is eroding. Brand loyalty is at generational lows. Why? One must ask. Because companies optimize the measurement of experience without redesigning the delivery of it. They track the fever without treating the illness. There are three fundamental failures I've observed across industries. First, CX is treated as a department, not a strategy. It lives in a silo instead of running through the entire organization like a spine. Second, Companies design for the average customer instead of the actual customer. They build personas, they run focus groups, and then they serve everyone the same standardized journey. And third, and this is the one that rarely gets said, the operational engine of most companies is fundamentally misaligned with the promises the customer-facing teams are making. Sales promises, marketing inspires, operations delivers something else entirely. CX First, the book is about closing that gap. So what does CX First actually give you? The book is built around a set of interconnected frameworks, and I want to give you a taste of three of them. The first is what I call the CX strategy cascade. Most companies have a brand promise and a set of operational metrics, but no connective tissue in between. The cascade is a model that links your customer promise all the way down to the individual process decisions your frontline makes every day. When it's working, every employee, from the VP to the service agent, can explain their work serves the customer. Most organizations can't say that. The second is the experience blueprint. Forget journey maps for a moment. A journey map shows you what happens. A blueprint shows you why it happens. And where the organization fault lines are that keep producing the same broken moments for customers, I'll just say this. The first time a leadership team sees their own blueprint, the room goes quiet. And the third, the one I'm most excited about, is what I call the experience helix. This is where the book moves into the future. The helix is a framework for using customer data, not just transactional data, but behavioral, emotional, and contextual signals to predict the customer's next need before they express it. I call it customer digital DNA, and it changes the entire logic of CX from reactive to anticipatory. Now, I'm going to stop there because if I keep going, I'll basically read you the whole book, and that would defeat the purpose of the link in the comments. Now, this is it. CX First, published June 3rd, 2026. Available now on Amazon, and the links are in the comments below. And here's why today is the day to grab it. Until June 11th, that's just a few days from now, the ebook is available for $1.99. Yeah, $1.99. Not because I think the ideas are worth less. I think they're worth a great deal more. But because I want this in as many hands as possible. I want practitioners, leaders, design thinkers, and operators to have this, and I want the friction to be zero. After June 11th, the price will go up. So if you've been listening and something I said connected, now is the moment. The link is in the comments below. It takes 30 seconds. Now, let me leave you with two things I've seen these frameworks actually do. The first, at one of the largest telecom companies in the US, we used a version of the process intelligence work this book describes to identify over 40 distinct moments in the customer journey where the organization's internal handoffs were creating customer friction. Not because of bad intent, but because of process debt that had accumulated over years, not to mention the technical debt. The result wasn't just lower handle times. It was customers who called in angry and got off the phone with the reasons to stay. That's what a well-designed operational engine produces. The second story is more personal. Early in my career, I was a designer, trained at IIT Kanpur, working on products and environments. I believed that great designs solve problems. What I learned, slowly over 2 decades, is that great design without organizational alignment is just wallpaper. You can design a beautiful experience and deploy it into a broken system, and it will be destroyed within weeks. CX First is about making the system worthy of the design. That's the work, and that's what this book is about. If you lead a team, build products, or sit anywhere near a customer, this book was written for you. CX First is available now in most of the countries through Amazon. Link is in the comments. Take 30 seconds. That's all it costs. If this episode gave you something to think about, share it with someone in your organization who needs to hear it. Tag me, start the conversation. I'm Hitesh, and this is Human Centered Experience. Put customers first, not just in your mission statement, but in your decisions. See you in the next one. Thanks for listening to my podcast. If you found this insightful, please subscribe, share, and check out my recent article on this topic on LinkedIn. As always, feel free to get in touch with me with comments, suggestions, and ideas. I'm Hitesh, and I'll see you next time.